Well, so there should be, okay, in a second. I believe now we are live, and today is, what we're going to talk about today is this PTE Core. Well, so I'd like to make sure that you can hear me well, things are fine. So please let me know in the comments below, everything is okay. Okay, good. Here we are. Good. Okay. Um, so PTE Core is the topic of today's live, and we will go also a bit of information about our course for preparing you to PTE Core test if you're applying to travel or immigrate to Canada. That would be your course. So let's see. First, this is Mahmoud Mokhtar. I'm a certified Pearson PTE trainer, and um, I've been through some trainings before I qualify for such courses to deliver. One of them for sure was CELTA by Cambridge, and trained a trainer, but that's also but that's for something else. Could be teacher training, and here I am. I received the training by Pearson 4 years ago to train on PTE with their academic and now PTE core. OET is more for doctors or medical fields, and I do work with OET as well. Well, what is PTE? First thing comes to your mind, what is PTE? Maybe we're a bit familiar with IELTS, but now how about PTE? PTE is Pearson Test of English, and it has a bit of some versions of the test similar to IELTS academic and IELTS general training. We have PTE academic also, and now PTE core, which is now accepted by IRCC for immigrating to Canada, along with applying for work visa or you want to live there. So that's first thing, but not for the academic purposes. For academic purposes, you can take PTE academic. The good thing about the test is you can book a day before you want to have the test, 1 day ahead. Your result maximum takes they say 5 working days, but typically what happens in real life is only 2 days, sometimes second day or when you are on your way back home, you get the result. PTE Core assesses your general English, your everyday language, on 4 skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and it is computer-based, not paper-based. None of PTE exams is paper-based; it's only computer-based. But there are some options. You might have it for PTE academic, for example. You can have it whether at home, online, or at a center, a test center. But for PTE core, the only option is in a center, exam center. There is a combination here for scoring in PTE. The scoring doesn't happen with relying heavily on human scoring, but only on machines. They fed it with lots of data about how to evaluate speaking, listening, for sure, reading and writing. Speaking and writing, and for sure, reading and listening would be easier for machines to detect the answers and so on. We might talk about this in depth in another live on how they use technology, or even short videos or reels, and how they use technology to integrate it with the assessment for your language. Moving to the next part. Here we have this, the test is divided into 3 sections, but you have it only in one setting, so there's no breaks. You just take it in 2 hours and that will be it. Speaking or writing are in the first section, followed by reading, and you end with listening. Most of the things here we have on the test, of the questions we have in the test, are integrated questions. So the questions, they test more than one skill at a time. Most of them, they do so. And we'll have a look at types of questions. So for the first part, which is speaking and writing, that takes the largest part of the test. It's the longest one, and it takes around an hour, 46 minutes to 67 minutes. That's for speaking and writing. Then goes for around half an hour for the next 2 sections, reading and listening. In total, no one will exceed 2 hours while they're doing the test. It varies from one to another according to the questions. The timing comes to every individual who's doing the test. But all of you will go through a 19 question test. So 19 question times and the test, and that would be for everyone. But the questions will be different from one to another for sure. The number of tasks vary from 49 to 54. It depends also on the questions that the individual tasks you will get and the timing for each one. Well, having this said, will take us to the first part, speaking and writing. You get 7 question times, and you have it in 46 to 67 minutes with 7 question times. Here you start with read aloud. A read aloud comes, or the task is repeated 6 to 7 times, as you can see on the screen, and here's the details about the rest of the questions. Today we'll focus on having one by one. We'll go through some samples, and I also like you to participate with me maybe in the chat box, or let's say the comments below. I'll keep an eye on your answers, and that will help me a bit, give comments or adapt what I'm going to say now. Or let's say the comment. Well, so let's start with read aloud. Before we start the test, yes, the first thing you get to answer is a personal introduction, and this is not an assessed question. It's only there for documentation and make you familiar with the test and the type of technologies that will pop up while you're doing the test, and to know the layout. You'll have timing at some corner up there on the right of the screen. Counting, the word count will be the right left corner of the screen. When you have a writing question, how to click next, and so on, the answer, the microphone, all these settings, they should be ready at the beginning before you start the test. So that's for the personal introduction. You get 25 seconds to read the question and then respond in 30 seconds. All questions comes once. You don't have a chance to listen to a question again, maybe, or something. Now that will be not the case, not the option, similar to other tests. Well, first question, read aloud. And in read aloud, you have up to 60 words to read. And it assesses reading and also speaking. And the time varies according to the length of the text you get. So it varies from one task to another, and from one person for sure to another. And the number of tasks you get is 6 to 7. It depends on the length. And there is a tune you need to hear before you start answering. So you get a timer counting down, and while it's counting down, you need to follow some strategies. We'll go through them now in a minute, while you're waiting for the beep, so you can start answering. Now, I'll take a 30 second to get ready, and then another 30 seconds to answer. That's according to the instructions here. So I have 30 seconds to read the text as naturally and clearly as possible. You have 30 seconds to read aloud. And the text from a notice in a wildlife park. I'll imitate this taker. I want you to tell me, is this taker performing well or no? So that's my 30 seconds preparation. Okay. Now, considering this is the 30 seconds, I'll go for another 30 seconds reading. I'd like you to tell me in the comments whether would that be good or bad. Okay. So here's my answer. We would like to remind the visitors that they should take all rubbish away with them when they leave the park. Empty bottles and other types of waste can be dangerous to small animals. So let's protect nature and keep the park clean and safe for everyone. So what do you think about this answer? Okay. Well, yeah. Well, obviously, such an answer won't really be good one, and that's because, yeah, and this is because for some mistakes happened here. First, in the preparation part, the test taker didn't really use the 30 seconds well. In the 30 seconds, we need to speak. We need to try pronouncing the words that we feel might be a bit difficult for us. So we can hear us and we hear ourselves and we start to maybe modify or guess the best pronunciation. We don't need to read the whole text if you feel that we don't have enough time. Well, we need at least to go through the content words or the words that we face for the first time. So, for example, let's say remind visitors should take. So I also need to practice linking words together. Take all rubbish away, leave the park. So maybe if I had some comments from my teacher that I need to focus more on pronouncing P and B, so that's the time to make sure that you get the pronunciation first correctly before you start recording. So because here in this text we have lots of P's and P's, so it's a park and rubbish before it, empty bottles. Dangerous to small animals, protect nature, safe for everyone. So now let's say the 30 seconds finished. I heard the beep. Now I need to speak. When we're speaking also, we need to consider the commas and the full stops and the text that will help you have pauses and break the text into chunks, small chunks. So that sounds natural and clear when you're speaking. So you would say something similar to, would like to remind visitors that they should take all rubbish away with them when they leave the park. Empty bottles and other types of waste can be dangerous to small animals. So let's protect nature and keep the park clean and safe for everyone. So having the gaps will help getting a higher score, having the chunks when you're and the falling intonation and rising and falling intonation, stressing the content words, and the content words are the words that have meaning standing alone. These are the important words. So content words, vocabulary, grammar, the nouns and the verbs. These are content words, the adjectives. But the grammar words are more of functional length, like the, then, and, for, then. So these are functional language. We don't need to stress them. We would need to have them pronounced in a weak form and link them all together with what is before and after to get also high score in fluency. Well, having this part said, now we go to the scoring system for such a question. Read aloud is scored upon three criteria: content, pronunciation, and fluency. So we need to say all the words there to get the content mark full. That first one, then pronunciation and fluency. For having, if you want to have a full document on details on how they score pronunciation and fluency from 0 to 5, send us a message on WhatsApp or Facebook, and I'll send you full PDF on the scoring system. Second question is repeat sentence. And in repeat sentence, you have a sentence to listen to, and then you start to repeat what you hear. You don't have to listen to a beep. There's no beep. You don't have a beep, so you can start after, but right after you finish listening, you need to start speaking. And you have a text or an audio that goes somewhere between 5 to 15 words. You listen and then speak. That's and these are the two skills are assessed in this question. You give 15 seconds, not 15 minutes, to answer, and the question is repeated 10 to 12 times. That's how would the question look like. And let's listen to one.
They used to rent a room in a house with 5 other people.
So that's an example of what you're going to hear. Again, it's general life text, not academic. You listen to it, you repeat it, and then you move to the next task of this question.
They used to rent.
Okay. You are scored in this question on the content, pronunciation, and fluency again, but the content here, the criteria in content is a bit different from the first question, which is, sorry, that has to be scoring repeat sentence, not read aloud. So you need to, let me get over it, or let me fix it in a second. So sentence. Yes. So you don't need to omit, change, or change the order of the words. You need to keep things as is. If you made any hesitation or pauses, you will be evaluated on that, yes, but not in the content. That was for pronunciation, maybe, or fluency. It depends on what you did. Having all words said, that will guarantee the full mark for the content, which are 3. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. You need also to break things down while you're speaking, while you're practicing for the test. So you need to work, okay, I work on the content, then I work on pronunciation and fluency. I integrate them all together when I'm answering. I need to keep this in mind, following tips and tricks you get from your teacher. That will help a lot. Then you move to another question, which is describe image. In describe image, you get a picture, a graph, or a process flows to describe. You get 25 seconds to prepare, 40 seconds to answer. The task is repeated 3 to 4 times, and there is a tone before you start, a beep you hear before you start speaking. And you're scored on the content, again, pronunciation and fluency. That's these criteria, or this criteria is all about speaking, and you will face such criteria in each question you have speaking. But the content will be different from question to another. But from pronunciation and fluency, they're the same. For the content here in describe image, what we need to do is to have all main points mentioned there in your description. What you see, all details you can get. So that will be important for you to conclude, to get the highest mark. Everything, every relation between two items, whatever you conclude there, you include there, will help getting the best score in content. The less you write, the less score you get. Sorry, the less you speak, the less the score you get. Because again, you see a picture, but you speak. This is a process for making pasta. Let's listen to an answer.
The diagram shows how to cook pasta or noodles. First, boil water in a large pan. Next, add the pasta or noodles to the boiling water and cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. After that, you empty the pasta from the pan to remove all the water. You should do that over a sink. Then, when you have done that, put the pasta in a bowl. The pasta will still be hot. Finally, add some butter and salt, and then it's ready to eat.
Well, this is a very good example, a very good answer, because even the test taker mentioned that this pot will be here hot, and he concluded this from the graph you see here with there are some steam coming out, or okay. Yes, that's one. And he linked process to another. Then after that, later, these are examples of things to conclude from one to another, from one step to another. Didn't miss minor details here, mentioned 10 to 15 minutes. So that's a good example. Then respond to a situation. Here you're given a situation, and it's life situation. You get 20 seconds to prepare, 40 to answer. The task comes twice to 4 times. And in such a situation, what you need to do here, for example, is to reply to someone who's asking to do something or deliver a task earlier than it is, and so on. You need to respond to that. You need to consider who are you in the text. So in the situation, the instruction will give you details on that and who you're speaking to. And you have this in mind to be careful which language you use. Are you speaking formally or informally? Is this business relations, so you keep it formal, or is it more of friendly conversation you're talking to on your family or something? So it doesn't have to be formal. And the content, or whatever you're gonna respond with, maybe your response will be different in content from the other one. It's not a big deal, it depends on your reaction. not something to be evaluated on. No correct answer for it, and usually it is. That's why the content is not here as a criteria, but a proper C is the criteria. Is it formal or informal? But you keep the same thing, pronunciation and fluency as is. That's for responding to a situation. Now let's listen to a sample answer of a test taker.
I'm afraid it won't be possible to complete the report by Wednesday. Could I possibly have until Thursday? I'm sorry for the delay, but the sales figures I was expecting to receive today still aren't available. The team has promised to send me the information tomorrow. As soon as I receive it, I'll look at the figures and finish the report. If they send me the information tomorrow, I'm confident that I can get the report to you by Thursday.
Good. So as you can see in this example, it's formal context, and she did follow this. Next one we have is answer short questions. In answer short questions, you have a question you hear, maybe supported with a picture, and then you answer with one word. Maybe you add a, an, or za before the word, but nothing more than that. You get the question repeated 5 to 6 times. These are the number of the tasks for answering the questions. It tests listening and speaking. And it is something, the questions are more about life, general knowledge. You don't need to study something in a specific to answer these questions. And let's give you a question. Example here would be, what's the animal that has white ivory, that has two white ivory and a trunk? So an answer for that would be elephant, an elephant, the elephant, all are fine. If today is Sunday, what is tomorrow? Maybe Monday. So these are samples of questions you might face, and they are as simple as that. And regarding your scoring, if you get question answered correctly, you take a point. If no, no worries. What we need to do before you answer such a question is to keep in mind the first few words. Are they asking? Is the question more about something, someone, a place, a synonym, antonym? They're giving definition, and you need the word. What is it? What is it that the question is more about? That will help you, at least if you don't know the answer, to guess the type of or have a range of what should the answer be. And guessing is okay here. You need to guess. If you don't know the answer, say any word that you think it can be a correct answer. This will help you. If you said it correctly, you get a point. And moving to the next one will be summarizing a written text. You have a text 10 to 20 words. This will help you. This is now writing. So by answering short question, this is the end of speaking. Now we're moving to the writing. You get two questions. First is summarize the written text, and then write email. So for this question, you have 100 to 20 to 200 words. Read them and summarize them. You get 10 seconds to answer, and the summary, your summary, has to be 25, somewhere between 25 and 50 words. That's for PTE Core. It is a bit more than this in PTE Academic. The question is repeated once, maybe it comes twice, or it comes once or twice. Here is a sample. Well, in such summary, you need to include two things: the main idea and the supporting ideas. What is the general idea of the text and the supporting details, the main supporting details in the text. The function of the keyboard buttons Control C, Control V, Control X they don't work in the day of the exam. That's why you have these three options here: cut, copy, and paste. So whatever you type on this in this box and you want to edit or have like 3 or 4 words, cut and paste them somewhere else, you need to use the mouse, highlight, and then click with the mouse on cut. You move with the mouse again on the area that you want to paste them, and then you don't use Control V, but you use this option here, paste. Okay. That's for every writing activity or question you face in the test. You're scored on the content, so that's why you need to include all relevant aspects. You get the best score there too. The form, also the grammar, vocabulary. So you need to start with the capital letters and with a full stop. Use a bit of a good range of vocabulary and grammar. No grammar mistakes are there. You get 2 points, the full mark of grammar. Use correct and suitable words, or word choice we call, that will help you get to 2 points, and so on. That's for summarize written text. Last question we have in speaking and writing section is write email. This is different from academic writing, which asks you to write essay, but here you write email. You get 2 to 3 sentences as prompting and give you what to write about. Minimum of 100 words, and this is assessing your writing. You get 8 minutes to answer that you need to write 2 to 3 emails. That's an example. Again, the same writing or typing rules apply here using cut, copy, and paste. There is word count at the left side down of the screen. Keep an eye on that, not to write more or less than 100 words. In writing, to get the full mark, you need to, for the content, you need to cover all points here. That's very important for scoring high for the content. Again, also you need to keep the form in mind. It has to be that contains, your email contains 50 to 120, that's okay. But less than 50, more than 100, that won't be really, or more than 120, that would be really okay. So minimum of 100 guarantees you having space for you to show your language. For complex grammar, good vocabulary range, this will help more in evaluating your vocabulary, because in your report, after you get the score, you have you have a scoring on speaking, listening, reading, and writing, but also grammar and vocabulary and pronunciation. That's one thing to keep in mind. Moving to the next part 2, reading. You get 5 different types of questions, and you have around half an hour to answer them. First question is reading or writing, fill in the blanks, and you have a text up to 300 words. You have items to here with a Dropbox, some options to choose which one is correct. So once you click on the option in the Dropbox, you have 4 options to choose from. And in this question, you need to keep in mind a few things. What is before and after the gap? Do you need which tense you're looking for here? Is it a plural or a singular word? Is it what kind of, if it's a preposition or linker, what's the relation, what is before to what is after the gap? This is a cause or a result, this is coming after that, so that will help you a lot. Is it what's before negative and now it's positive, so which linker you would need to use here, and so on. So for each correct answer, you take a point if it's wrong. it's a 0. Second question, and here is a bit tricky point for this question. We'll face it again in the listening part, but let's see here. That's regarding scoring. MCQ, multiple correct answers in reading. So you select more than one correct answer based on your reading. The text is up to 300 words, and this is for sure assessing reading. The task comes once or twice. That's an example. So you read an answer, you need to choose more than one correct answer. The point is, if you choose a correct answer, you take a point. If you choose a wrong answer, you lose a point. So we end up with a 0. If like the options, there are 2 correct options, you choose one correctly and the other one is wrong. Now you come out of the question with a 0. But rest assured, if you think there are 3 and you choose two wrong answers out of 3, that won't score as -1. There is no minus. It's only the minimum you can get in such a question is a 0. But hopefully you don't go for that. So one of the strategies to get correctly to get out of the question with maximum score is to choose only the point that you're 100% sure this is a correct answer. This is one of the strategies to follow. Okay, I got it. I got 1 point correct. Well done. The other point, I'm not sure if it's the option 2 or 3. Well, what you need to do here is don't choose any. So you will leave out of the question with 1 point, and you know for sure you get it. But if you choose another option, you're not very sure. Now we're not very sure. Maybe you lose the point you got. This will apply also in listening, MCQ, multiple answers. We'll get to that and repeat that again, no worries. For reorder paragraphs, this is the third question in reading section. You get a text up to 150 words, which is assessing reading here for sure. And the tasks are repeated. This time, the question comes twice or 3 times. You drag and drop and put them in order. One of the strategies that you need to get in mind, to bear in mind here when you're answering, is for sure you don't start with however. However can be the first thing you start with. Because however it means there is something and the opposite is coming right after it. So that's not. At the same time, it also encouraged. What are we talking about here? We don't know. So that can be the first sentence to drag and drop. For instance, that gives an example. How come I start giving an example at the very beginning of something I don't know anything about? So that's one of the strategies that will help you to get what is the first thing you answer or you choose to have at the beginning of this paragraph. Also, reading the instruction will help you to get more about what is it about. So this is from a blog post about traveling on your own. So now I have an overview about what you're going to read. After you answer, read it again. Make sure that it makes sense for you. The order makes sense. So the scoring here is 1 point for each pair of correct answers. So if you have 2 paragraphs are put correctly right after each other, you take a point. If no, you get no point. Fill in the blanks. Another question similar to reading or writing, filling the blanks, but the difference here is you have the options, drag and drop, put them in the correct gap or the correct place. Again, some of the strategies of the other question applies here, which is consider what you need to fill the gap with here. Is it a noun? Is it an adjective, adverb? Which tense, and so on. You read what is before, what is after. And after you finish, read all of it. Does it make sense or no? Also, collocations will help a lot here. So if you're aware, that's a part for sure on the preparation course, is having collocations. So that will help here and will help also in the other question we had, the first question in reading and writing, fill in the blanks. The scoring for each one, you answer correctly, you take a point. If it's not, you don't get a point. Last question is MCQ, single answer, and this is one of the easy questions. At least it has no harm if you get a point wrong, you just don't get the point. Opposite of the other question, if you answer wrongly 1 point, if you choose it one wrong answer, you will score in minus. And this question is repeated twice maximum, maybe it comes once. Here's a sample. What we need to do also is to read the question first, so you know which strategy you follow to get the answer. So here is asking which of these is only available during the Bay Center's opening day event on June 1st. So you read the options, and now you're looking for something about June 1st when you read to, so the whole thing is here about June 1st. You need to get it only during the Pay Center opening day. Once you start to look for, you get the answer, you choose, you move to the next one. And instead of spending time reading the whole thing, you don't know if you need this or not. So that will help a lot in saving time, because at some point, some sections in the reading, you don't have timing for this question, you have a timing for some questions. So you need to finish to go for the next one. Okay. You choose it correctly, you take the point. If not, you don't get it. Listening is the third part. Again, it's around 30 minutes. Your listening will be supported sometimes with videos, and sometimes it is a video to watch and answer. 7 different questions. Let's start. First is summarizing a spoken text. And in summarizing a spoken text, you get a text to listen to, and then you type the summary. The summary gotta be around 20 to 30 words summary, and the question comes once to twice. And you get 8 minutes to answer. The listening will be 1 minute to 1 minute 30 seconds. And here's an example. Again, all typing rules apply, but you don't get to use the keyboard for copy, cut, and paste. You have to use the options on the screen with the mouse. Again, you can take notes typing on the box you have here, and then you edit whatever, or maybe you will use the pen and not the paper. You have a notebook, a bit of electronic notebook that you can use, and a pen again to use to write and erase. And the day of the test, whatever suitable for you, use it. Whatever you're comfortable with, again, it is to use. You will be scored on the content, form, grammar, vocabulary, and spelling. Spelling is something you need to get. You need to get to the maximum score of it. 2 points, something easy to score. Just make no spelling mistakes. All things are correct, you get it. Grammar, correct grammatical structure, no grammar mistakes, you get 2 points. Vocabulary, appropriate word choice. You don't use something that doesn't go along with each other as collocations maybe, or I don't really get the meaning because I use of your word choice or vocabulary. No, good, you get the 2 points. So what I like about PTE, it's you can easily score points. Once you know some English, you get you get the points of that. You know some techniques on how to do this, you get more points. You master the language, you easily can get the highest score. One of the strategies to keep in mind, and it's very effective, and I'd like you to maybe here have a chance to answer. These are samples you can use while you are listening and taking notes. So listen, take notes, but in taking notes, don't write everything you hear. Don't write a script. It'll be difficult. You won't write everything. That's first. Second, write the content words again. The content words will be something vocabulary, grammar, vocabulary like nouns, verbs, adjectives, time, locations, and so on. What about the other functional words, or the other words, functional words? Use samples, draw something that will, for you, mean this word. So for example, if we have the word money here, which sample you think that will represent? Oh yes, $10, money. So when you're writing, instead of writing dollars or money or fortune or something, you can write the sample dollar or whatever you will develop as a code for you. Here's the answer of the question. Okay. Moving to the next question, and listening, multiple choice, multiple answers. This is very similar to reading, multiple choice, multiple answers in terms of scoring. What you're going to listen here is about 40 to 90 seconds listening. The question comes once or twice. Listen and choose. Maybe there's a video, click on it. Sorry, you don't play it, it plays automatically. You just get 10 seconds maybe or some to read the question and the answers. While you're listening, try to omit some answers. Oh, it's not this, not that, maybe this and that. Okay, here are an option that I'm very sure about. Here's another option, not very sure. Okay, you choose the option that you're very sure about. And regarding the other option, if you get very sure about that, perfect, use it. If no, skip it, not to use the point you got. And this is regarding the scoring system. Correct, you take a point. Wrong, you lose a point. But again, you never go after the question with a minus. So no, it has to be also at least you get 0, but no less than 0 as a total score. Fill in the blanks, but this is for listening. So what you do is you listen and type the missing word in the text. The listening will go something from a minute to or half a minute to a minute, and the question is repeated twice or comes 3 times. You just listen, hands on keyboard, and type. Again, using tab button on the keyboard doesn't work here, so you need again to move the mouse from gap to another to start typing. You get it correctly, you take a point. You miss the point. Multiple choice, single answer. Again, one of the questions that it is easily to get a correct answer for. You read the question, watch while you're watching the video, try to omit some options, and you choose the correct one. If you get it correctly, you take a point. If you miss, you don't lose a point from your scoring. You just don't take the point and score 0. Missing or select missing words. One of the words that you need one of the questions that we need a bit of imagination from your side, along with listening very carefully again to what you hear. So you get an audio that would go somewhere between 20 to 70 seconds. You listen, and at the end of the recording, you don't hear the last sentence, the last part of the sentence, or a couple of words maybe, or 3 to 4 words. You need to know what is the rest of the end of the recording and choose. So you get 4 options. You need to listen to the whole thing. What is the beginning of it? Did the speaker make any changing of his opinion maybe, or stance? What is it about? Does the option make sense in terms of grammar and content to the beginning of the sentence or no? So you omit answers and then you choose what you believe it is the best correct answer. If you get it correctly, you take the point. If you don't take the point, but you don't lose points in this question. Again, highlight incorrect words. This is that one of questions that it looks like a bit of a game for most test takers. They enjoy answering such a question. You get to listen to a recording, 15 to 50 seconds, and this question comes 1 to 2 times in the exam, and the audio plays automatically. While you're listening, you have the script written. But the point here, the script you read is not the one you listen to. There are some differences, not exactly the same. Some words have changed. What you need to do is, using the mouse, click on the word that you know it is, or it is not as you heard. If you click on a word that's different from what you heard, you take the point. If you click on a word that's exactly the same as you heard, but you think it is wrong, you lose a point. You take you lose a point, it'll be minus a point. So again, similar to multiple choice questions, whether in reading or listening, you need to be very careful with what words you choose and you believe they are not exactly as you heard, not to lose points. Again, you don't score below 0 as a total scoring of the question, but the point is, if you're very sure about your choice, this is not exactly as I heard, you click on it. If you're not very sure, leave it. What you need to do also is keep your eyes on the text with the mouse moving from one word to another while you're listening, and you click on the options. You click on the word you believe it's wrong. It is not as you heard. Grammatically, both are correct, whether the written or the listened, the one you listen to. Grammatically correct, meaning it's fine, everything is okay. The mistakes that happen here, why the question looks like very easy, why it's a bit of a tricky question, because sometimes the pronunciation is exactly, or let's say not exactly, is very similar to the spelling you have on the screen. It's not the same word, but close pronunciation or spelling for you, maybe. That's one thing. Second thing, maybe it's a plural word, but it's written in singular. So that's one more thing. And after this, sometimes the word is completely different in spelling and pronunciation, but they're very similar or exactly the same in the meaning. It's a synonym of it. So subconsciously, you believe, well, it's kind of the same thing. Fine, we're good. Let's continue. But no, the question is asking you to point out the words that's not exactly as you hear. That's the task. So yes, it's a bit of fun time you have when you're practicing this question. But again, it is easy question to score the ultimate score of it. If you get a point correctly, you take the point. If you choose a point or a word that you believe it is wrong, but it's correct, you lose a point. 0 is the minimum score. You can't come out of it with minus. Last question in listening and the PTE Core test is writing from dictation, right from dictation. You listen to a text, short recording, and you type what you heard from beginning to end. 3 to 5 seconds, this is the length of the audio. You listen and type, the task is repeated 3 to 4 times, and you hear it only once. You can type on the keyboard right away, you start typing, or maybe you use the pen and the notebook you get while in the test. One more thing here is, if you type, whether you type or write, taking notes while listening, don't type grammar words. Don't try the grammar words. Write the content words. Try to remember everything you hear. Have it, use the chunks. Sometimes they they have the sentence in two parts, two chunks. Keep in mind what you heard exactly. If you don't know the word, try to guess the spelling from the pronunciation. And you don't need to write, for example, the word procrastination. You don't need to write all of it, just the first three words, the first three letters. So you remember what is coming next to move to the next word, because we all just speak more or faster than we write. So that's something to consider when you're writing or taking notes before you edit. Because again, you have a bit of some time to edit what you took as notes and submit it, go to the next part. You score a point if you have the word spelled correctly, and you lose a point if you didn't. Don't change the order of the words, keep them as is. Start with a capital letter, end with a full stop or question mark. It depends on what you heard, and that will be for the scoring system for right from dictation and the end of your test. Here is one of what we offer for free at Lingua Training College. Send us a message if you want to receive any feedback. If you want to receive feedback on your speaking or writing, send us a message on WhatsApp or maybe Facebook. Send us a message and we'll get back to you, including the message that you want to have feedback on your language for PTE, and we'll give you feedback about that. We'll give you a task, and then you do the task. We'll give you feedback on your language. So again, if you want to receive feedback on your speaking or writing while you're preparing maybe self-study, or if you want to prepare for IELTS even, or PTE Core or academic, send us a message requiring or asking about some details for such a service we do offer, and we'll send you a task to do. Again, we'll give you feedback on it. Here's the contact that you can use on WhatsApp. Reach out to us also on any other social media platform, and or even via email. We'll leave it at the end of the slides. That's one thing. Our PTE course has 9 live sessions on Zoom, also some sessions on grammar and vocabulary away from the 9 sessions, and pronunciation workshop. We work on your pronunciation and fluency, personalized feedback one-to-one, and also study plan according to the score you want to get and the time you have, and your language for sure. We'll give you a PTE Core bank questions. This question bank is made for PTE Core. That's different from PTE Academic. The content there is PTE Core General English bank question. So that will help you bit focus on the type of questions that comes for PTE Core, the context that comes for PTE Core. The same service applies for PTE Academic if you're applying for PTE Academic. And we'll give you some service for sure in details with lots of resources on how to score more than 79. That's for our PTE Core. For registering for the next round starting in March 2024, there is a discount for 20%. Send us a message with this code Lingua Webinar, and we will you will get the discount. Again, that's the end of today's webinar. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to send us a message, and we'll see you again in another webinar. Follow us on our social media. Have an account on our website, www.lingotrainingcollege.com. You'll get notifications and emails on what we do every week or every month, updates on our courses. That's it for today. You have a good day, and that was it. See you again.